If y'all don't know, y'all about to find out. We are at season 2 of Queen's Arsenal. It's been a journey.
Ain't it a blessing?
But we're back.
We
like
made it
we
out.
never left.
Baby, we have a season for you. But we're going to get a little bit more intimate, don't you think? Y'all got to know us fairly well in the first season, but...
We kept it light.
We did. It was cute.
We tiptoed around some things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very demure.
Very mindful.
Cutesy.
And we
How
talked.
are you feeling, friend?
Oh, my goodness. True freedom. You thought I was joking when I... Options are few. I'm trying to pray.
But where are you? This is my part. I'm all burnt out. Hurt and abused. No, for real. While I do feel those things, I am also very grateful to be alive in this space and in a place, you know. Because life be lifing, but one thing about it is I'm a come back with my uppercut and my 1-2. Okay. Because I'm in the ring, okay? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to make sure I could do what I could do when I do it, how I do it.
And you be doing it, friend.
And I be trying.
You every time.
I be trying, girl.
We're here right now. We literally were just at an event, and we were talking to someone, and they were talking about they had a podcast studio and what they did. And you remember he said, what was it, like 90% of podcasts don't get past episode 3.
Right, and we said we was rookies, and he was like, y'all not rookies. Y'all got to episode or season 2. So good props to us. Pat ourselves on the back for that one. We did that. So today, we got a topic. Y'all know we be diving into the stuff now.
Let's do it.
Okay?
That's what we're here for, right?
So we're going to be talking about depression, right? So I know some of us, maybe all of us, have experienced it in some form or another, and especially given that the season is changing in the Midwest.
My goodness,
you know,
and acknowledge that because the daylight savings is completely different for Midwesterners than it is for like the rest of the most of
Arizona doesn't even do daylight savings time.
It's just fine. Everybody's fine. We're literally out here supplementing vitamin D and like taking time to wrap ourselves in a heavy blanket.
Yeah, I got to take mine every morning.
It's dark
and
at
then
12
I'm pale.
PM.
Yeah,
but
it's not. Anyways, back to the story. We talking about depression. I think it's good given the state that we're in the world. We're not gonna get into all that, but you know, the seasons. But first, I want to give American Psychiatric Association definition of depression. So it says it's a common and serious mental disorder that negatively affects how you feel, think, act, and perceive the world.
Okay, that's cute. I feel it's like that's not
cute. It's not cute. Don't lie to the folks. It was a cute definition, but the experience is very much ugly.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, let's talk about that because the way they describe it, it just sounds very robotic to me. Like, it makes sense. I hear what depression is, but when you hear that and you think of your idea of depression, what's the difference? When you describe depression, what does it sound like?
In the corner in the fetal position.
Ooh. Sliding down the wall.
Shaking a little bit. Uncontrollable sobbing.
That's about right.
Wondering where my life went wrong. Trying to figure out if... Sorry, I'm back.
She gave you a lifetime experience.
I'm back, y'all. I'm back. I just, you know...
No, that's real, though.
It's really debilitating sometimes. I know for me, like, it shows up in many different ways.
Okay.
But it's... Usually it takes me a while to even understand, like, I'm slipping into a depression or I'm depressed or I've been depressed. It's usually after the fact that I kind of realize. But since I've done therapy and stuff and I kind of, like, understand my triggers and things and what's normal versus manic behavior for me, and I have accountability people that know me that, like, girl, you crashing out a little bit.
They'll be like, hey. Back in the field.
Yeah, what about you? What's your definition of depression?
I think my introduction is the same way, or my definition is the same thing where it feels like sliding down the wall, you know? And that
Slowly.
Girl, very slowly. Knocking things down, crying.
Oh my God, like bringing the sheet
staring
with you.
into the void. Exactly. It's very much that. But the thing is, I've been diagnosed with depression since I was 13. That's when I got my first clinical diagnosis.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of been like indoctrinated into everything for me, where I've consistently just been like, this is just a part of who I am. Like, I just have to deal with these cycles where I'm just down. And then, it's also a manic depression. So as much as there's down, for me, there's up. You know, like the other side
Deadly
of that.
combination.
It's scary because you get to the up and you're like, oh, I'm good now. I'm in a peak. I'm living and I'm, doing all this stuff and I'm getting active, and then I burn out and now I'm back down. And so I had to find the happy medium, and that's when therapy came into play for me, because when I was 13, I was not actively trying to pursue therapy, obviously.
Right, because you didn't know what's a therapy.
I sat in those sessions every week with my arms crossed, just stimming, just tapping my leg and rocking back and forth and not speaking. Okay, because
I still do it.
Me too. I'm still stimming, but now I know with the tools I've had in therapy, journaling, all this other stuff, is that I have to find the common ground between the two. Like, too high is just as dangerous as too low.
That's a fact.
Yeah, coming into that middle space is where I try to find my homeostasis. So
yeah,
but it's a work in progress, baby. It's not easy.
Yeah. I know, like, for me, like, my depression doesn't really manifest itself in, like, the typical way for other people that you can just, like, see it and be like, oh, she's depressed. Mm-hmm. You would have to, like, know me intimately to know that I'm, like, probably depressed. Because mine, like, shows up as, like, hypervigilance. Ooh. So when I'm depressed and when I'm, like, anxious and stuff like that, I automatically start doing stuff. Like, I remember 2 years ago when I was buying my house, I was also buying a house. I was fixing my credit. I was enrolled in full time and had a full time job, and I was a mother, and I was doing acting, and like it was just like the list went on and on and on about the things that I was doing, and the reason that I was doing it was because I was trying to distract myself from the reality that was going on around me. So I was like, and you know me, I'm type A, and I'm also very much so driven. So I'm like, well,
I can fix this.
I might as well just not even I can fix this. I might as well just do something productive instead of wallow in the sheets and cry. I might as well just go get a degree or go get a job or a certification or enhance this skill. So it's kind of like a catch-22 for me, because it's like, yes, I am being productive, but I'm also in like this autopilot mode of trying to survive and having a reason to get up in the morning.
I think the reason that you were able to have that like come to Jesus moment and be like, oh, this is a symptom of my depression, I'm avoiding something, is because you've done the emotional work. Because typically people that are hypervigilant have significantly lower emotional intelligence. They don't do that work. They avoid it. And so that's why you get 15 degrees and you climb a corporate ladder and you hate a job and you do all these, you travel the world and climb Mount Everest, and it's like you're doing all of this because you're running, you're escaping, and they never get to the moment where they're like, oh, I am running. But the fact that you were able to sit and say like, oh, it's kind of the same as like the highs and lows for me. Right. It's like finding that middle ground.
And so the way that I was able to even like discover that was through a combination of things, right? So like I started therapy, and it wasn't because I was depressed.
Amen.
It was because I can't say that lie. I was gonna say it was because I was homicidal, but I don't know. In the court of law, I did not.
I mean, you didn't commit a crime.
I did not commit a crime. And I literally was looking for blood from other people.
That's
you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, oh, y'all can die. Like, and I'm sorry I didn't want to say it, but I had to say it. Because it was like, what happened was I was going through a divorce. It was the most traumatic thing that I ever experienced, especially in the way in which it happened. That's for something, y'all gotta have to pay.
Okay. Subscribe to our Patreon.
Yeah, y'all gonna have to pay for that one. I'm not giving it to y'all here. The people that know, but you know.
I do.
So it was just like a really traumatic experience for me, and I wanted everybody that was the reason for it. And it was just like, I had to really sit with myself and understand. I think I had a high level of emotional intelligence given the circumstances.
Fair.
Because I could have crashed out.
And warranted. Let's just say that.
I could have crashed out, but then I was like, you got a child. They can't have two functional parents. Dysfunctional parents. Two of them. He don't deserve that. And that's literally, that's what it was for me. I was like, I gotta be in the right headspace to raise this child. And that's how I started therapy. But I discovered, the things that take place when you're like feeling depressed and you're slipping into a depression. Like, I'm pretty sure I definitely went through postpartum.
Oh, girl.
I put my foot through a TV while I was holding my baby.
About that.
Yeah. And it wasn't like one of them little flimsy ass.
It was a TV.
It was a box TV. Barefoot. Kick that bitch in. Imagine the type of rage in my soul.
I mean, you know my kick story. That was pure anger.
Yeah.
I guess depression was fueling it as well in some ways, but if you know me personally, then you've probably heard the story of me kicking through a sliding glass door. And I'm not going to tell the story, but what I will say,
y'all gotta pay for it. I don't care what. I'm getting paid for my pain. I don't care.
My trauma is not free. This is not Risa
people out here getting paid for far less.
She did get a series. You know she's doing a movie. It don't matter. But those spaces, I think that like all of the extremes of the emotions are another part of depression that people don't understand. And I mean, maybe that is the mania side of it, but it's like it infuses whatever you're feeling. Absolutely. So if you're angry, you're 10 times angrier. If you're sad, you're on the floor in a ball. If you're happy, you're crazy. But it's all still being fueled by depression.
Depression has led me to some
impulsive
series of unfortunate events.
The decision making.
I'm not even gonna tell y'all again. Window. Y'all gotta pay for it. There was 10 months of my life that y'all need to hear about.
Oh, child, we gonna let y'all have a link later. But for real, that like moment where you have to like acknowledge and be accountable, because again, in therapy, right? Like acknowledge, ooh, I did do that. Like that was, and it was related to depression.
Nasty work.
We talked about this before, like, I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but I know we've had conversations about how typically whatever you're feeling, whatever that primary emotion is not really what's going on.
Oh,
there's
for
something under that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those situations are where we can see that come up and feel like, oh, well, shit, I'm not actually even angry. I'm embarrassed. I'm hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not actually sad. I'm lonely. I'm
finna
isolated.
Slide down my chair now. I'm about to do a real live version of depression.
Girl, that's how mine shows up though. And you know this about me, friend. I'm an isolated incident. So when I am in those spaces, I go right into my turtle shell.
I was just about to say, you said it. The key point was isolated. When you are in that zone, you get quiet. You don't. Now, what I can say is that like the difference between you and I is I do isolation. But if I'm at isolation, y'all probably should check me in.
Fair. When she gets quiet, I get worried.
Yeah, y'all probably should check me in. Y'all probably should come do a wellness check on me. Because if I get quiet, that means I done went through all the thoughts, logical thoughts that I could go through, and I done felt all the feelings, and now I just, again, I'm not going to say it again. Y'all heard me the first time. I didn't want to say it the first time, but I said it because I said I was going to come to this space and be vulnerable. But, yeah, it's just... The symptoms of depression, they're so vast and they're so convoluted because, like you said, what's showing up isn't like the root emotion or feeling that's behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like you going out and you partying with your friends and you having a good time.
Talk about it. Say, y'all ain't here. You put the Don Julio down. You don't need no more.
Confession.
You doing a gallon a weekend.
I'm a confess. I had a therapy session like last month, and I'm like 99% honest with my therapist.
I love the honesty on the honesty because that's real.
Yeah, I'm 99% honest with my therapist, and I remember saying like, I'm gonna tell my therapist I be getting high.
Ooh,
yeah,
I'd be scared.
I made it up in my mind because I knew I was like I need a real.
She needs to see me.
One thing about it is I don't go to therapy to bullshit.
Yep,
I don't. I'm sorry. You got to get me as my full entire person so you can give me an accurate analysis with your degree that you went to school for.
I have to trust
to tell me what is going on. So I told her I was like, listen, I've been contemplating it, and you know me, I'm type A, so I compartmentalize how I'm gonna do my session. It's an hour long. I got 15 15 minutes to talk about this. This deserves 20 minutes.
Crazy to me.
I literally chronicle lies, if that's a word, how much time I want to spend on each topic, because it's only an hour and I need more than an hour, but I need to get it done. And
don't you hate when you get to a point, like a pinnacle, and they're like, that's all the time we have for today? Like, girl.
No, my therapist, she'd be like, so when's the next session?
It feels the same.
And I'd be like, girl, don't let me, charge me 2 times.
Charge me right now.
But I told her, I remember I was like, I smoke a lot of marijuana nowadays. And I wasn't going to tell you, but I think that it's important for you to know, because I typically don't. Usually I'm like a recreational smoker. Right. Like, oh, it's a vibe with my friends.
I have noticed that, friend.
But now I go home and I definitely get me a nice little edible and just, don't care about nothing. You know? So I had confessed. And she was like, Cinda, you know, you're a very authentic person. You don't really like to deal with disingenuous type of stuff. And you have been in a reality that you're not comfortable with, which has been causing you to kind of mask, which in your version is a lie. And you're self-medicating because you're trying to escape the reality that you're in. And I was like,
coping. That's the truth. That's the truth, right? You told her the truth. She told you the truth right back.
And I was like, I'm still getting high though. Like,
I'm gonna do it when I get home.
I need, actually, after this session, because I haven't escaped the reality. Yeah,
it's actually in the car.
Yeah, like I really want to light it up right now.
Right? Can I smoke in here? It's crazy.
There was literally
therapist's office. You smoke?
I don't know what show this is. It's on Peacock, but it has Tammy Waka Flocka's ex-wife. I don't know her name. Nevea. I don't know. She was on that. Whatever. And Eva
Mendez?
No, Longoria. That was on. There's a show. And so she's talking to the girls. And she's like, y'all, I came across the country. I left my kids to be happy. No, to pray, love, grow, because I don't know what the show is, but I'm assuming it's something about mental health or whatever. And she was like, and it ain't no weed. And I was just like,
when Eva was on The Real Housewives, they were always talking about her because she was like, I'm finna go get high. I'm finna go roll up right now. But that's just
something that we look to find our own medications.
Yes.
And I'm not just saying like weed is the medication. Like I said, you're going out with your party. You put the Don Julio down. Sex, you know, gambling, shopping, you know, overeating. We all find those things that kind of like help us to feel better about what's going on in our lives.
You know what gags me? The one that gets me every time.
What?
And I do this so much. It's over analyzing and trying to find the logic in my feelings. That is the one thing about therapy that I will say is a downfall.
I am a historical. Not like literally, I will logicalize. I know that's not a word
today.
I will logicalize my emotions. I will not feel them.
Yeah.
I will be like,
I'll explain them away. Like, oh well, this
happened, that
happened. You can't feel like this. Oh, you feel like this because it doesn't change how you feel.
Yeah, you don't feel it when you do that because now you're trying to justify your feelings.
But you do. You're just suppressing it.
Yeah, but
so
you
now it's down here.
No, you don't feel it as its way to be felt. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like, for instance, like there was a moment where I was, I guess you could say brokenhearted. It seems like a big word to use for the situation, but we'll give it what it gives. And I was just like, well, you know, I told everybody, and then I did this, and you guys said that, and this and this and that, and it was just like me just trying to rationalize the fact that I was actually experiencing heartbreak because I had vowed to myself I was never going to do that again. So when you vow to yourself that you're not going to do something, and then it happens, you now have to make it make sense. Like
until you realize you don't.
You just have to be. You just got to let it be. And honestly, I think that's important. I think, and we were talking about it earlier, there is a clip I would like to share with you guys, but I'm going to summarize it. after I say the point, which is that I think that a lot of us should feel safe enough to just authentically show up as ourselves and not expect to be shot down, rejected, or belittled. A friend of mine shared a clip with me about there was accolades being given, and essentially this guy was saying about this woman that, you know, he loved how she authentically showed up, in a nutshell. And I heard the clip, and I immediately felt like, wow, we as people don't actually take the time to authentically say how we feel about people because we're scared of rejection or that they won't receive it or understand it. And instead of just being like, hey, you know what?
This is how I feel about
you.
I
really do like you. I really like, you know, when we go out and we sit out and we kiki and we mix and mingle. Like, it really makes me feel great inside. And it really makes me feel like, you know, it brings me joy. But we don't say that because we're like, I know me. I'm a classic, keep it here.
To the chest.
Keep it here.
You never got to know.
I can give you hints. I'm okay to give hints, but when it comes down to like the authenticity of how I feel about people, because I'm a feeler friend, you know.
I was gonna say, you think you don't show people how you feel?
I'm Cancer vibes. It's not that I don't show them. I don't fully show them. Okay. So I put restraints around everything that I share with people. Yeah. Unless I know that I'm safe with you, I'm probably not gonna give you too much. I'll give you like a little bit. But it don't be like, I really can't breathe when you're not around. Like, it don't be that. Because they'll be like, okay, she's crazy.
But that space is exactly like that vulnerability, and we were talking about this earlier too. That's what creates the intimacy in relationships. And that's how you become more intentional in those relationships, and you get to know people on a much deeper level, where it's like a lot of these relationships are superfluous. I'm tired of seeing these people with groups of 25 friends. Like, you can't possibly know all of them. You can't possibly. And there's no way you don't have enough time to be that intimate with each person, which is a different conversation. But for the sake of this argument, when you sit down and you take that mask off and you're willing to be like, this is really me, then they actually start to build that muscle and be like, okay, well, how can I show up for you? How can I love you? How can I know your nuances? I was with my other friend, Ashley, you know, Ashley Booty, and we were out. It had been late. We had been doing things, and it was probably about 1, I don't know. And she was like, okay, well, you know, like, I'm going to do this. I think we were at 5 Iron, the golf simulation. She's like, I'm going to hit this last round, and then I'm going to get ready to go. And I was like, okay, girl, well, let me know. I'll walk you out. And she, like, didn't say anything or whatever, and we got ready to leave. And when we got out, she was like, girl, I said that because you went nonverbal. You moved seats. We were sitting on a couch together, like in a booth. She was like, you moved across to a single seat. You stopped talking completely. You were just, like, looking up every so often to be like, I am still in public, but you were done. And that, she was like, I could have stayed out. I was having a good time, but I know you were ready to go. And I was like, oh. And she was like, and your butt's over here talking about, oh, let me know, I'll go with you. And she was just like, yes, girl, I know you're going to walk out with me.
And it's those like, type of intimate relationships that are appreciative. I was
because you see me.
Yeah. And then never mind. So the greatness of that is that you do feel seen, and it pushes you to be vulnerable as well.
And when you feel seen, you feel safe.
Exactly.
And we all deserve that. We
do. But we're scared of safety.
No, we're scared of vulnerability.
No, but listen though, because I was in my acting class and we were talking about the dynamic between like men and women, and we were talking about how, you know, we're kind of like clumped into this group of angry black women, and we had to kind of like break down the psychology of it, of like, how did we get there? So the women were chiming in like, well, you know, like, we get locked out, we're expected to
we're villainized for feeling,
we're expected to be like your confidant, your comforter, and then we have to go back into the history of how we were raised and what we saw growing
and supported.
Up. And most of the people, from my experience, like, most of us was raised by single mothers. And even if we weren't raised by single mothers and dad was in the house, it was a completely different dynamic. Yeah. It wasn't like it is today. Yeah. And I was explaining, like, it's very difficult because the vulnerability doesn't exist because we're scared. And I was explaining, like, I've had a situation where I very well should have felt safe in the confines of the relationship with a man.
Amen.
But I couldn't rationalize it because I was so used to
it's never been modeled for me.
And that's the thing about that's why I said we're scared of safety, because when we see me, I ain't gonna say we, but when I saw safety and what safety looked like, I was like,
girl,
you might be lying to me.
I've told you the story before. I'm like, my dad, he was in the house, but he literally took me to dinner on my 18th birthday and was like, you grown, we can talk now. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You've said 17 words to me in 18 years. And for him, that's a whole different conversation. There was reasons behind that, which made sense in his brain because our parents did the best they could. That's the end of it.
We all are.
But for me, it was like, okay, I expect men to take this much time, if ever, to open up, and I kind of got conditioned to accept that in ways that I wasn't willing to pry. So there's so many relationships, especially with men, where I'm like, I can see that there's something else going on there, but I'm not gonna say nothing.
Oh, I say it.
I don't.
But they don't like that. The guys don't like it.
That's a different conversation.
Because I be like, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like? Girl. Your mama didn't hug you at night.
But the importance, and it all comes back down to the vulnerability. Being willing to be in the space where you feel a little uncomfortable and you're a little off of your normal square, because the end of it is being seen and being acknowledged. So we got to give them some work. Y'all know how we do. We got some stuff for you too.
But you already know we got to kind of take a little briggity break. But before we do, though, I do want to encourage y'all, if there are any people who would like to call in, ask some questions about what we're discussing today. We do got a phone number that y'all can call in. This is for the live people. We got live. It's going to be 248-387-9594. And save it in your phone, because that's the number y'all can call or text and be like, hey, y'all, what you mean by that? You know what I'm saying? We want to get interactive with you. Last season, it was kind of just us interacting with each other.
And now we want your opinions, which is why we're on live. Drop the comments, because we will be reading them.
We will be getting into it. So get y'all questions ready, get y'all comments ready so we can talk about it. But when we come back, we're going to be discussing how to kind of like navigate through depression and what our steps and tools were, and how we kind of like got on the other side of it and learned how to deal with it.
Because you'll make it too. It's time to let somebody see you, the real you. Supposed to be
unmask yourself.
Show yourself.
Show yourself. No, okay. Sorry, guys. It's been a while. I have to mask up. No,
oh, Lord. Here we go.
We'll see y'all in a little bit.
These kids say anything else.
They keep on
I ain't going to lose my mind. Did I pay the light bill?
You want me to keep on?
Oh, my God. What time? What time does he have on? Oh, my goodness. I forgot to sign up for karate. Oh, my God. Okay. The dishes are not going to do themselves.
You go to bed at 9. You can still get 8 hours of sleep. Have you or a loved one experienced feelings of stress, burnout, or wondered if maybe you're the red flag?
Do you sometimes feel like everyone else has life figured out while you're just trying to keep your plants alive?
If you answer yes to any of these questions, you may be entitled to get your shit together.
Queen's Arsenal is a revolutionary podcast designed to destigmatize mental health with real conversations, accountability challenges, and a healthy dose of cognitive reframing. So, if you're tired of self-care advice that just tells you to drink more water or meditate, we've got you covered.
At Queen's Arsenal, we go beyond the surface, dive into relatable stories and tools that actually help you get your mind right.
So why suffer in silence? Tune in to Season 2 of Queen's Arsenal, where mental health is made approachable, humorous, and refreshingly real.
Because you don't need another bubble bath, you need Queen's Arsenal.
Side effects may include spontaneous self-reflection, unplanned journaling, the sudden urge to set boundaries, and an unexpected desire to finally address the thing that you've always been putting off. Listeners have reported increased clarity, heightened self-awareness, and occasional moments of, wow, I really needed to hear that. Queen's Arsenal is not responsible for any self-realizations, relationship audits, or life epiphanies that may occur. Subscribe now to Queen's Arsenal Season 2, coming soon to all podcast platforms. You may be entitled to get your life together. If you or someone you know is ready to embrace radical self-awareness, face a few uncomfortable truths, and finally stop procrastinating on your personal growth, Queen's Arsenal might just be the place to start. Listen responsibly, as side effects may be irreversible and could lead to a life you're actually excited about.
We're back. And we were a little bit heavy. We came in hot today, friend. I appreciate that about us,
you did start off with truth is I'm tired.
And I meant it.
Okay.
Every fiber in my being.
I did too.
But we talked about, if you missed the first half, we were talking about how depression has affected us, the different styles of it, postpartum,
seasonal,
girl, grief-related depression.
Yeah.
Ooh, can we talk about that for a quick moment?
Grief? Honestly, I'm probably still depressed about my granny dying. Yeah. Don't know. I mean, I think I just system shut down on it, and every now and again I have moments where I'm like, damn, she really left.
You gotta like process it in pockets.
Yeah.
Like you can't.
It's never, because if I let it full on, I probably won't survive that.
Yeah, babe, check me in. Scrubby sock me. I'm not coming back from that.
Because like that was the one person on this earth that I literally like. Yeah.
It's like a never-ending sadness to that. And it's almost, I feel like that type of depression is the kind that never fully heals, or it heals like a scar.
Because there's no way to really like get over the loss of a loved one.
No, there's no closure there. I'll never forget my aunt passed away. This is like back in 2016. The love of my life. My dad had twin sisters, and both of them were my girls. You know that. But they passed away 6 months apart from each other. And it was watching my aunt that passed away second in the 6 months prior to her. I hate to say it, but I knew, I could feel that she wasn't going to be here for long. Like the heartbreak was so palpable. The sadness was so extensive that, and it's like, you know, I'm grieving as well. We're all grieving, but your twin, like your sister
who you
and
came
your
in,
twin,
who you came in
been
with, like that.
What you mean she's not here?
Since conception.
And my aunties and my grandmother talked every single day. It didn't matter what was going on. They got on that phone and and not on three-way. These are old ladies. Like they were like, okay, I'm gonna call you back this day. I'm gonna call you back this.
That was me and my granny. My auntie was like, y'all talk like y'all was girlfriends. Me and my granny,
besties. Best. So I remember watching that, and like I said, it was about 6 months after. And when it happened, even though it was like kind of there was a feeling there, I started compartmentalizing before my second aunt passed away, because I was like, I'm not going to make it through that. And once it happened, I had nothing to give. I had no emotions at all. Like I was completely numb to the experience. And I walked through it comforting everybody else in a way where they were almost like, are you good? Because you're like, they're there. It's going to be okay. Right. God got us. And I'm usually not, I'm either, you know me. So, but I just wasn't myself, and they could see it, but they were still grieving. So it was just all this going on. And I was shopping one day. I think I was like in a Macy's, and I was in the dressing room trying on clothes, and I broke down. I came out that dressing room just bawling, and I don't even remember who I was with, but I remember them just being confused, like
what
you don't have to get the shirt,
right?
You don't have to.
Cute.
If you don't get it, I will. And I'm just like, and immediately, like when I saw them in their response again with masking, like, oh girl, I don't even know, whatever. And I didn't realize this until earlier this year. But I always went clothes shopping with my aunties. And they always had me in the dressing room.
Muscle memory.
It was literally in my in my muscle memory. Yeah. And so I like literally was like driving and was like, like, oh, that was that manifesting. And it was so uncomfortable to rationalize. And I don't really try on clothes anymore. I hadn't even thought about that, but that was 2016, 17. I'll just buy them, go home.
I'm not even gonna hold you, friend. You just brought up a lot in me.
Sorry.
Recounting your story, because like during the time that,
it's okay.
During the time like cause my granny, like she knew she was going, but we didn't know. And when me and my cousin kind of like analyzed like our relationship in her last days, she definitely pulled back. Like I used to talk to my granny every day. I would get into it with my cousins. Like my granny, because again, we talked every day. So there would be times we'd be on the phone and she'd be like, well, I haven't heard from such and such. Ooh. I guess they didn't forgot about me. And I'd be like, Granny, I'm going to call you back.
She said, because how dare you?
I'd be like, why you ain't talk to Granny? Cause you go call her right now. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call her on 3-way. Cause I don't play it by my granny. So whatever my granny wants, she get. Now around the time, cause she got really sick, she was bedridden and everything. And I remember going to see her, and I remember her just like laying in the bed looking so fragile, and me being like, what can I do to fix this? Mm-hmm. You know, and I seen like her pillows wasn't good enough. And I was like, fuck out of here.
I can fix that.
I was like, Granny, I'm about to go get you some pillows. You want anything? And she was really like not really talking and very frail. And she kind of nodded her head. I was like, I'm about to get you some pillows. Mm-hmm. I'll be back. You want something else? Mm-hmm. And she was like, I want a Coke. And I was like, okay. Done. No more. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And so I go downstairs. I come back in. I got the pillows. I got the Coke. And I had bought me some Nutter Butters. Mm-hmm. And so I remember... Because grief, it shows itself in many ways. One of my cousins was extremely angry. She was just lashing out at everybody. Mm-hmm. So she was like, you bought her a Coke? And I was like, girl.
Lord.
She could ask me for a piece of crack.
No, seriously. I would have laid the line out for her.
She could have asked me for whatever it is that she wanted, and I guarantee you I was going to get it because that's my motherfucking granny.
Okay.
Regardless, side, off step. I'm saying this to say, like, I brought up the pillows, I fluffed them up, I gave her her Coke, she didn't want it, I pulled out my Nutter Butter to eat it, and she reached her hand out, and I'm like, you want some Nutter Butter? And she took it, and she held it in her hand, and she smelled it, and the nurse was there, because she was on hospice. She was like, yeah, usually around these times, they just want to have, like, things that are comforting. She's probably not going to eat it. She just wants to smell it. Yeah. To this day, I have not touched a Nutter Butter.
You said I can't even do it.
I won't. And then the crazy part about it was, like, she was in hospice, so we knew that she was transitioning. During the time, I was actively going through a divorce. Mm-hmm. So the depression was stacked. Yeah. Like, I remember I had a divorce party because why not?
As you should, friend. Like, literally, more of you should do it.
I had a divorce party, so I'm having a good time. I'm drinking. I got edibles, and then my mom calls me, and she's like, Granny's gone. And... immediately in my body, I wanted to get up and go, but I was inebriated. Mm-hmm. And I also just knew, like, I have a thing about how I remember people in their last memories. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to physically be there because they were there when they took her body out because she was staying with my auntie. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and everybody was calling me like, where are you at? Where are you at? Because everybody, they're not going to confess this, but everybody knew that I was my granny's favorite grandchild.
I'm cracking up.
And they're never going to confess. They're never going to admit it. Like I said, we was thick as thieves. Like, there are conversations that me and my granny had that she didn't have with her other grandchildren because we just communicated like that. We just got each other. Yeah. And they were like, where are you at? Where are you at? Like, I almost didn't even go to my granny funeral. The only reason I went because I thought it was disrespectful not to go. Yeah. But same. It... still to this day, like, I'll have a moment and I'll be like thinking about her and I'll be like, damn, like, I just want to call you and hear your voice. Like, I still have voicemails. And I swear, and my granny was classic for introducing herself, even though we knew it. I feel like that's an all granny thing.
It's your grandpa. Like, call me back. Like, girl, granny. I know.
Hey, this granny. I love your number. Bye. And I'm like, and then my family, they're so ignorant. And I'm so mad her phone is not on right now. They let her do her voicemail. So when it went to voicemail, she was just like, Delcy, Delsi. And she saw her whole first day. And then you hear them laughing in the background.
Not they were there while she was fucking up. Like, girl, nobody wanted to help Granny. I see why you her favorite. Why did you do that to her?
Why would y'all do that
Why would y'all?
But yeah, like, just dealing with that, it comes in waves, you know, and it hits you. And you kind of like you really got to ride the wave of it. And you really got to feel it. And you just have to take those moments and times to actually kind of like just take a moment to, I think it's always good to kind of like bring yourself into perspective. Oof. Because again, like the definition said, it kind of like thwarts your view of the reality that's going on around you.
Yeah, you're not really present.
Yeah, so it feels like the world is crashing down, the world is ending, But if you wake up and look around and actually just take a moment to be present,
there's so much to
you
be
can
grateful
see
for.
that it's actually really not that bad. You know, me and I, we were talking the other day, and I asked you how you were doing, and you were like, I can't. And I was like, all right.
Literally.
Yeah.
I was like, I ain't got it. She was like, all right, bye.
I was like, and then she was like, no, we can talk. And I was like, are you sure? You know?
I was unmasked. I was like, I don't want to. But hey, girl.
And I was like, I was ready to not talk. And so, like, you know, we have
respecting my boundaries, even the imaginary.
We've learned each other in that degree. It took a lot of work, and we're gonna do how our
there was
friendship
definitely
developed.
a time where I would have done that. And you would have been like, what the fuck?
No, there
girl?
was a time where she would do that, and I would pry and be like, "Tell me," and she'd be like, "I'm not talking about it," and I would feel dismissed. I would feel it. I would immediately personalize it, but because I learned, like, okay, and I think that's also important when we as people have done some of the work to kind of like know and identify when somebody is going through something. I think it's important to take that time to acknowledge that for somebody else, you know, because like you said, you was like, I don't want to talk about it, and I'm like, okay.
I hear
And then you were just like, no, but for real, and then
now we can
and
talk
you got
about
it out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that creating that space as somebody that knows the ins and outs of what it can feel like, because it can feel very isolating and it can feel very lonely, and you can feel like nobody fucking understands what the fuck you're going through, and you're the only person walking the face of this earth with all these people and aliens
it's crazy, but yes.
that feels these things, and it's not true.
It's not
like
true.
It's literally not true. Like, we are all going through things, and sometimes we don't know how to function with the things that are going on, and it can feel heavy and it can feel weighty. But sometimes you just need somebody to like kind of just stand there with you.
Ooh, say just be here. What do they call it? Body doubling, where they're like, I have to. It's like a neurodivergent trick or something. I don't know if it's specific to neurodivergence, but I'm neurodivergent, so everything is a neurodivergent hack.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, they tell you if you have some sort of task that you're supposed to be completing, having someone that's there, just being there, it makes it significantly easier to do.
Girl.
So being like, just come over, I need to clean up.
Girl,
just sit
oh
there.
my God, if I had that.
Just be here.
Girl, I literally went
I gotta
on
do
TikTok
this
one
meeting.
day.
I got to do this email. Like, just
I was
come
on
sit.
TikTok one day, and I was like, I just want to get on here and let y'all know, because I was feeling it. I was like, I had got extremely overwhelmed. You know me, the tism be messing with me, and I be getting overstimulated easily. So I had this was around time for school for the boys, and I took them, and they were running around, and I was supposed to get school uniforms. I walked out. We were going to go to dinner. We were going to go sit down and eat and have a good time. I walked
No
out.
one's
I
going
canceled
anywhere.
everything. Like, literally just canceled everything. And I was like, honestly, guys, if I had somebody there, like, it's okay. You can do it. Like, literally.
Hang out with the kids together, we can be
It's so
4
much
kids
easier.
deep,
And it's
we're
easier.
good.
And I just literally be like, and I was like, you know, like, oh my God, if I had somebody to cheer every time I paid a bill,
just be here.
just pay the bill.
I don't need
every time
you to do anything.
every time I opened up a bill,
Just
to
be here.
rub my back, like, it's gonna
Girl,
be
I know. Like, can we? Is that a service? Should we be doing that?
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
we might have to. Yeah.
You know, if you need a body double, if you need an emotional support person, like they got animals, I got you. Just FaceTime me and I'll sit there and be like, you doing a good job.
You better write that paper.
You
Read
are
it to me
killing
again.
it. You got this.
Yeah.
Clean
even
them dishes.
The simple stuff, because I this society is like, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. And I think that's what a lot of men deal with, you know.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
The guys, this is specially segmented for the men, because the men think that we don't get them.
The podcast is called Queen's Arsenal, but we are equal opportunity.
We are
healing.
equal. Let me tell you, the men, y'all think that we just be like, go to work, pay our bills, do all of this stuff. No, babe.
Talk about your
We
feelings.
would like to hear from you.
Go to
And
therapy.
you know, it's okay. It's safe space around here.
You
And
can cry.
I want to address, like, I've had conversations. I've been really gaining a lot of intel about men, because I would like to have a successful marriage one day.
Amen.
I failed the first one, but that's neither here nor there. Learning ground.
Like
So, I like to know how men think and what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I be asking them, like, you know, like, why don't y'all share your feelings? I want to say like 98% of the men that I spoke to said, the reason we don't share our feelings with y'all is because when y'all get mad, y'all take it and throw it in our face.
Ooh. We got to be accountable.
I'm going to tell you right now, yes,
sorry.
I have. And as this present moment, I literally try not to do it right now. when I get mad, I literally, if I think I'm about to say something belittling or emasculating to a man, I'd be like, you know what? I feel as though this conversation has gotten a bit out of hand.
That's great.
I told you, I just did it the other day. And I'm like, I can't seem to find the right words. So I think we should just talk about it and continue to doing whatever it was that we're doing. Yeah. Because we think differently. We're wired differently. Women are, emotional. Men are very logical and things like that. And I want us as a side challenge, as men and women, to learn how to appreciate each other's differences. Ooh. Instead of being like, you're to this or you're to that. Because we owe that to each other, because we need each other, especially within our culture, within our race, because we've been so divided for far too long.
I almost stood up.
We've been divided far too long, and I think like our generation, I know that our generations and then the children that we're raising, they're going to break the mold. But it starts with us, because we're the ones that are healing the generational curses that were put on us years and years ago, centuries ago.
Village mentality.
Yeah, so that was just a side spot.
We apologize though, because you're right. I've done it as well. I frequently, and it's not exclusive to men. I don't just do that to them. We can just leave that
to like the banter in between us when we talk about stuff that we are. Totally,
our little Okay, yeah. I'll just say it to my homegirls.
We're not gonna say it to your face. We're not gonna not say it because we got to get that one off. But
that's almost. We were so close, and then you were like, I still got to talk my shit.
That's it, cause you made me feel some type of way. Really, that's what
I got to, for. But I do. My dad always used to say like, men speak respect. That's their first language: English, Arabic, French, Japanese.
Reverend Ike, my mama, she be on my head. You give the man the power and the woman the flower.
Oh, I like that.
Let me tell you something, babe.
I like that a lot.
If my husband is out there watching, come get me.
It's so ghetto out here.
Come get me, okay? Because I've done the work. I just need to exercise it now because I'm sitting over here in my lawn. We are not supposed to be talking about
tangent. But the grief is real. The other thing about grief in terms of depression is the grief of letting go of someone who's still alive. There's a saying or a phrase that is, there is still grief involved in letting go of a toxic person. And I happened to have that come into my life at the time that I was letting go of a toxic person. I won't get too much again. You got to pay for the trauma. But when I heard it changed my brain chemistry.
Them girls that be on TikTok giving jokes and then they be like, yeah, that was me. Because, that one's a doozy.
It changed my brain chemistry because I realized I had been going through this. I went through a breakup, and I had been going through it very typically. I got to do better than them. I got to be finer, more successful. I got to get my relationship sooner. I got to get 7 degrees, buy a house, maybe an island, a jet. Like, I got to boss up on this motherfucker. Like, I got to show up.
That's just typical of a woman, because when a woman go through a breakup, at the beginning, she's all sorrowful.
Girl.
And then look up 2 years later, and she like, oh.
I saw her quote this girl. She was like, or it was a reel, and she was like, my ex who was cheating and blah, blah, blah. He was like, I want to break up finally, but I still want to be friends. When can I see you again? And she was like, on the cover of Forbes. And then it switched to the cover of Forbes with her on it. And I was like, again. But you know what I mean? Like, that is very ingrained in us. I don't think it's specific to women. I think men do it too. I think they're quieter about it. I've had men tell me they do that. Multiple different men.
I haven't seen them.
I think our human nature and our ego. I'll show you later. I've seen it's a culprit of our ego. If your ego is untrained, then you're designed to protect yourself. And if we don't want to talk about ego, then we understand that your untrained ego is protecting the person that was hurt the most, the version of you that was hurt the most. So that's why we have specific triggers, because there's something that happened that you were not safe or you didn't feel safe, and when that shows up, whatever it is, that's where you feel like, which I just kind of gave y'all my trauma and my own triggers, is feeling rejected, is feeling abandoned, and again, feeling unseen, but more importantly, the rejection and the abandonment. And so when this was a relationship that I decided to walk away from, but those things were still present, and I was not ready to deal with them. And so I was in my ego. I was like, well, I'm finna boss up. I'm finna get me, you 6'4", he about to be 6'7". Like, I'm doing it. I'm going crazy. And then after a while, it didn't make a difference. Like, I found the guy that was 6'7". I got a better job. I had a nicer house. Not even trying to stunt. Like, for real. I had the things that I thought would make me happy.
Baby, you better tell the people
and
in the
I still wasn't happy. Ooh. Because I wasn't healing. I was hiding. So
I wasn't healing. I was hiding. Put it on the shirt.
Merch coming soon. Dog, for real though, like that. At the point that I had that realization, which unfortunately came.
Sorry, it's just resonating in my soul. I wasn't healing. I was hiding. Golly.
So when I did all the things I thought I was going to do to get to where I wanted to be, and I still wasn't there, I had to reconcile that I wasn't there, and what was I going to do next? And that's really where healing started, and that was ugly and dark. But a lot of that was processing, girl. A lot of that depression was based in processing, again, the rejection, the abandonment, the failure, all of these things that I had set up for myself and visualized in this relationship, in this life, all of them to come to a screeching halt. And being like, well, did I make the right decision? Did I not?
And listening to you say that, I think depression is like a culmination of all these negative feelings. Rejection, failure, loss, sadness. Like depression is just like all those bad emotions jumbled up into
just
one
just
thing,
comes out.
and that's depression. Like, because in depression you experience all of these feelings: sadness, defeat, rejection, failure, all
fear.
of those things. You experience those things, and I think like that's my interpretation of it, like manifesting in my life and in my reality. It's all of the things just all stacked on top of each other, so much so that you like literally alter the cortisol levels are so high.
Girl, don't get me talking about the lobsters again. Go watch season 1.
Okay. What was the emotional credit score?
Hello.
Baby. Oh my God, that was a vibe.
Them hits be hitting.
But
Mike Tyson.
Even with all of those,
Okay.
Even with all of that information, though, we gotta tell them like
what to do.
When you were in those moments of depression, of failure, of disappointment, of sadness, fear, how did you navigate through those things, and what was it that you found helped to kind of like lessen the depression that you were experiencing?
So the thing that I didn't expect to help predominantly was journaling, because I don't like to journal physically. Like, I don't like to write it down. I used to when I was younger, but it's carpal tunnel, whatever. I don't want to write, and I have a lot to say, so it's hard
loquacious as fuck.
Babe. But when I started to, and I believe this was because of you said it to me, but I started to audio journal. So I just started to voice record.
Yeah. Oh,
and
you
then
did too. Yay.
I did, and I could transcribe, because the journal app on iPhone now, it'll transcribe everything, so I can changed my life. But being able to vocalize, for one, it's clearing to my throat chakra.
Get it off your chest.
I like to rap. I like to talk. I like blah blah blah. So being able to like physically feel the vibration of those emotions coming up through healing, absolutely. The other thing, and we talked about this on the first half, was being comfortable dropping the mask, which was something. I am a Scorpio, okay, a real one. November, baby, don't get it twisted. So when it comes to you were talking about sharing your feelings, and you were like, I give a little bit, but I don't give you anything.
No,
I don't have anything for you.
For a long time, I didn't think she really liked me.
She didn't. We've been friends for 15 plus years, and maybe how many years ago did you?
Maybe just this year. It's still kind of on the rocks. I don't really know sometimes. I'd be like, I don't know if she fuck with me like that.
I don't have it to give. Like, my feelings are my feelings, and that really just comes from trauma of having them weaponized.
Add that into an avoidant attachment style with the anxious attachment style.
Black cat, golden retriever.
Deadly.
It's true. But it is. It's a trauma from me having, just like we were talking about what we do to men, is having that done to me, not by men or women, but just in general. People weaponizing my feelings against me. It got to the point where I was like, oh, I don't have to do this. I don't have to show you anything. I can just... And you can see it on me when I do it. My friends, they can see it.
Off. I remember like vehemently seeing that shit and was like, oh, you are a fake bitch.
Mm-hmm. She literally cussed me out. She was like, you fake as hell. You got all these people thinking y'all friends. Because and I was just like, I don't understand why it's such a big deal.
And then I had to ask her, like, so do you really fuck with me or not? Because I really need to know. Because you be having these motherfuckers really believe in like something that it's not. And they be looking at me like I'm crazy when I be like, she don't like you.
And I be like, you just won't let people know me. Like, That's a wall. That's a
But
guard.
that's the thing about me and my genuineness. You know, I can't be inauthentic. I like, she don't like you. She don't like you. She might act like it. She gonna be cordial. And remember when we got into it, because I was
Multiple
like,
times.
No, yeah, this was that last time. That last time where I was like, because you always thinking me. It was crazy.
It'd be easier, and for that situation specifically.
You don't like conflict, though, so you're going to avoid it at all.
Let's just fight. So if we're not, there's no in between. If you really want to know what it is, Fred, because we talked about how it is, but I don't think I've ever told you. There's no in between for me there. If I don't like you, it's gonna be very apparent. You're not gonna like me either.
They're not supposed to.
This is the thing. You have to move through the world and deal with different dynamics and relationships, professionally, personally, platonically, familial, that you can't just square up. I can't square up with somebody every time I'm beefing.
That's
how I feel.
It's just an area of growth, babe. That's all.
I'm telling you how I feel and why.
And I'm telling you can make it through it. Okay, I'm here to support it.
It's easier to just be like, I can take that, and I'm not at all saying like this is the healthy way to deal with it.
I don't think you are.
Real-time processing.
Yeah, I don't think you are. This is okay. We be being honest with y'all.
So it's easier for me to just compartmentalize what I know you can't regulate anyway, because I can also have that honest conversation.
She said you're not even emotionally mature enough for this.
You're usually not. I'm being honest, but I can take that and be like, I can deal with this later or not, and understand like, okay, this is a thing, but if I do that in lifetime with you, if I'm already agitated, I don't have the patience to walk you through the feelings too. So I'm really trying to protect both of us until I grow.
To be honest with you, I'm going to be honest. It is something that you have to exercise often. Because like for me, like when I'm trying to, get out of depression and things like that, like, I'm very aware. Not even just of myself, but of others. So, like, I'm a very empathic person. Energetically, I can feel things, and I just know when things are off. Like, you don't got to say too much of anything, but I can feel the energy. It's a gift and a curse, personally, because I also get overstimulated. So, imagine somebody that can pick up on little small nuances and not being able to compartmentalize and then having to kind of deal with, like, these feelings of somebody else. And there's this thing called human design. You guys should look it up. It's a reflector, manifesting generator, and a projector. I'm a generator. And I'm a reflector. So essentially what that means is all my centers are open. I don't have any closed centers. So I'm not really leaned towards anyway. My way leans towards what environment I'm with, who I'm with. So I'm in a negative environment, you're going to get negativity out of me. If I'm in a positive environment, you're going to get positivity out of me. But knowing that stuff...
You ain't drink your water.
Knowing that stuff about me, you're going to have to take over, girl.
Okay. Knowing that stuff about her means that... when she is in whatever you give her is what you're getting back.
So what I was going to say is, knowing that stuff about me, I also have to be able to understand that if I'm in a negative environment, that might not necessarily be who I am. So it creates this inner conflict because now I have to separate that's not me and be me and try to shift the dynamic of the so it's so like
much friction.
It's a lot of transmuting that's going on, and I have to do like the alchemy of it. Like I know I'm an alchemist, but it's intense to have to do those type of things. Yes, especially when you add in the layer of depression, right? Depression hits a little bit harder for me because not only am I taking on I'm taking on the stuff around me. So if somebody else is close to me and they're experiencing a depression, it weighs heavily on me. I was just talking to my baby daddy. I'm gonna just be honest with you, and I had to tell him like, look, I know I'm a giving person. I know I'm a loving person. When I care about you, I care about you. And when I care about people, I care about them. So even if they do me wrong and I, let them go in my life, I still care. Like there's been times where we wouldn't be talking and I still care. I'm still keeping up. But I'm the type of person that I will literally sacrifice my well-being for somebody else. And that's a very dangerous path to go down. So what helps me with like my depression, and then what helps me with others' depression, because again, I take on my people's problems. Yeah, I have to. I was always a journaler. But now, for me, what works is creativity. So I do acting. I do yoga. I'll do like things that pull those things out because my things will sit. So I have to find something that allows it to escape my mind, my body, my emotions. Like it has, it has to be connected to something that I physically do. Whether that's
has changed my brain, the way I process those. Even when I'm first of all, I'm more aware of it now. Like I can feel when I can like feel it coming up, and I'm like, ooh, you're getting a little sad, girl. Like you're dealing with something. But I have more to push through it now because of that. So I definitely understand that.
Yeah. So those are just like the tools. Therapy is the top chart. Top chart.
This is pro therapy podcast, baby.
Baby, I got recommendations on deck from tink tink to full blown adult. Okay.
Listen, and since we are a pro therapy podcast, you know your therapist always sends you home with some work. We got some work for them.
We got the work.
We got a couple things. If you were here for season 1, then you should be familiar with our ambition audit.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Can we get some trumpets?
And our determination diagnoses. So we have 2 for them. The ambition audit this week is going to be to unmask yourself and be vulnerable with somebody.
So let's give you a breakdown of what unmasking yourself is. I think we should give a scenario.
Ooh.
We can act it out. We're going to get into my bag.
Oh, gosh.
You don't have to do that.
Do we have the time?
I'll portray. It's going to be quick. All right. So the scenario is we're out to eat. I'm ready to go. And you don't necessarily want to go. Same thing that we just talked about.
Okay.
And I'm going to do the mask version.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
All right. So we having a good time.
Hey, turn up. Let's get another round. Hey, girl, having so much fun. We got to take a video.
Right.
This is cute.
Okay.
Ooh, oh, they don't even close till 2. We got plenty of time. Let's get it, girl. You good? You sure?
Yep.
You want another drink?
Absolutely.
Okay, girl, let's get it.
Now that was a mask. Fake as hell. Because she know me, she checked it. But a lot of people ain't gonna fucking see that shit.
They don't.
Now let's show you the unmasked version. We having a good time? Okay.
Hey, turn up.
Friend,
hey.
I'm ready to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah. I mean, you can stay.
No,
I know this is a together thing for us, but like I'm at capacity.
Oh. Well, girl, I'll go with you. We've been here long enough.
And that is how you unmask.
And that's how you're supported in that space.
And you be authentic. And you ain't got to be rude.
No.
Like, look this shit, why you got me out here? No, you see, I said, friend,
it's how
I
you
ain't
truly
got
feel.
it.
Capacity.
That is was that the ambition audit. So now let's get into
determination diagnosis.
Okay, you got it.
You want to give it to him?
I forgot it.
Me too. Y'all got enough for y'all to do this week. I don't have my notes in front of me. I'm so sorry. We're going to give you that for the homework this week. Unmask yourself.
That's enough.
Be comfortable being vulnerable with somebody about how you're truly feeling this.
Oh, the determination diagnosis. We just did it. I remember. Yeah. Support somebody. That's what it was. You see how you just supported? That's what the determination diagnosis is. So
show
if you,
up for them.
Showing up for your
girl,
friend.
no, it wasn't.
That wasn't?
No, it was to move your body.
It was. I just lied to
y'all. This is
y'all.
the first episode. We love y'all. We're going to get better.
It's been a while.
But it is to physically move your body. Like you were saying with yoga, like I was saying about working out.
Or acting.
There is something that happens in your brain that when you're feeling like I don't want to, I'm not gonna. If you start moving, your mood will change.
And you're going to move that out of you.
So before you make a decision, start moving. Physical, go take a hot girl walk, go to a yoga class, meet me at the gym, baby, whatever. But find some way to move your body so that you can process those feelings and not just stay stagnant in them. And then again, unmask yourself. Show the real you. We want to see you.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. We want to see the real you. Tell me what you gonna do. Yeah. So this is the real us. We did a lot of unmasking because I just literally said I forgot right in front of y'all. That was so unprofessional.
We didn't try to play it off. We were just like, girl.
I tried to throw the ball her way. She didn't catch it.
Like, you told me you don't want to do it. She was like, I forgot. I was like, well, so did I, girl.
We tried to mask, but that mask broke down in real time because I tried to alley-oop it and it ain't gone. I don't even know if that was a good terminology. I don't know sports. But yeah, that was another unmasking moment.
The facts are we are here authentically, and the things that we say we mean. So you will get a lot
and we
more
practice, not even just mean, like we do it too. Like we literally sit with ourselves, and anything we ask y'all to do, we doing it ourselves or have done it ourselves.
And you feel, again, Queen's Arsenal Podcast on Instagram. Fall into our DMs with your stories, your experiences with depression, how to handle it if you have a loved one that's going through it. You can follow us on Instagram, obviously. You can find us on YouTube on the Jungle Juice Network. You can find us on Spotify. And until next week, babe.
Woohoo! Love y'all and welcome back to season 2.
Real you.